One of the purpose of this is we wanted to make sure when there is anywhere we see injustice or a possible cause for injustice, it is important we stand up and say we don't accept that, and that is the reason why we are here. And as I will quote, this is more relevant because we just celebrated Dr. Martin Luther King's 94th birthday, and the man mentioned this: injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And rightfully said. And I'm joined by many people here, elected officials, to speak about this particular bill, Senate Bill 147. And I just wanted to definitely thank each and every one of them. Some of them are traveling from Austin to participate in this event. And thank you, each and every one of you, coming and expressing your concern about this particular issue. And I just wanted, at this point, I wanted to invite, and I'm happy to say this, we have State Representative for HD 137, Gene Wu, his parents come from Chinese background. And of course, we have HD 27, Ron Reynolds, and HD 76, Dr. Sulaiman Lalani joined us today. Brian Middleton, Fort Bend County District Attorney, and of course, Nabila Bansur, then Lynn Liu from Asian American Leadership Council. Thank you for each and every one of you joining us. At this point, I will ask the State Representative for House District 137, Gene Wu, to come up and make his remark on this particular bill. Gene?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Judge George. My name is Gene Wu. I'm a state representative from Southwest Houston. I am also a very proud immigrant. My family came from China, and I was born in China. And my family became naturalized citizens years ago. But before our family became United States citizens, we were green card holders. We were green card holders for many years, as the law required. And while we were green card holders, while we were lawful permanent residents, we bought a home. We started a business. We worked hard, we saved up, and we built our American dream. And that dream, for many of the people in this state, may come to an end. Because their ability to build their business, their ability to even buy a home is now in jeopardy. In the past, our state passed a law last session banning foreign corporations that have ties to foreign governments from buying property. That's fine. We passed it. It's signed into law. But the difference is this bill attacks individuals, private people with no connections to other governments, other than being from that same country. The irony of this type of legislation against even people from Iran, people from North Korea, we have no diplomatic relationships with those countries. Anyone who is in this country from North Korea is here as a lawful refugee, fleeing an oppressive government. And they are now going to be punished again for the actions of that oppressive government simply because they come from the same place. That is not justice. That is not the American way. This is the land of opportunity. This is the land of the American dream. Of all places, Fort Bend County understands the value of immigrants, understands the value of the American dream, understands the value of opportunity for all. You look around this county, you look around Sugar Land, you will see immigrants from all over the world. And immigrants built this area. Immigrants made this area prosperous and made it as beautiful as you see it today.
Yes.
Yes. And if we And if we take away those opportunities, not only do we close the door for more growth, to keeping our state economically prosperous, keeping our cities wonderful, we may be ending our own wealth. Because the irony of this, as Governor Abbott pushes this legislation, the irony of it, that Governor Abbott has offices in Beijing to recruit the same investors, to recruit the same companies that he now seeks to punish. Wow. We spent millions of your taxpayer dollars to recruit businesses from all over the world, including China, to come here to invest billions of dollars to provide tens of thousands of jobs, high-paying jobs for Texans. And we're all going to throw that away. Texas grows soybeans, we grow corn, we raise beef, we produce oil. China is the third largest purchaser of all of those products. Who do you think is buying soybeans? It's not Texans, right? All of these things will be put into jeopardy. This will hurt not only this community, but it will hurt Texas farmers. It will hurt the people on the oil rigs. It will hurt the energy corridor. This is waiting to shoot ourselves in the foot. All for what? If you want to punish and deal with the issues of foreign governments, that's already law. That's already law. My question is, what do you have against my parents? What do you have against the families who are trying to start a little restaurant? What do you have against a family trying to buy their first home? What is the problem with them? What did they do to you? Why do you hate them? There's no reason for this legislation other than this is an open attack on immigrants. And now, in the past, we attacked Latinos. In the past, we attacked Muslims. Now it's time for the Chinese. Now it's time for Asian Americans. And I ask all of you, join together, fight back against hate. Either we stand together or we all fall alone.
Thank you. Very well said. Very well said. I just wanted to also put a disclosure out there. We know that all these four nations, we don't have a good diplomatic relationship. And this discussion here, as Gene Wu rightfully mentioned, this is not about the nations we are talking in this bill. It is about individuals like you and me. I'm an immigrant myself. This is about people. And also I will reiterate, there is no question about it, this bill is discriminatory. And that's why we are standing here and talking against it. And I just wanted to invite one of our senior members from Fort Bend County on our Texas House, House District 27, State Representative Ron Reynolds, to make his remark. Ron?
Thank you, Judge George. And I'm also proud to be chair of the Texas Legislative Black Caucus. Woo. And a few days ago, once this bill was filed, Representative Wu, my colleague, my brother from another mother, reached out to me about how this bill impacts his constituents and his community. And I can relate to that. Gene Wu, you talked about the history of this country and the people that is discriminated against, but you left out African Americans. Slavery was the original sin of America. And we just celebrated Dr. King's birthday this past Monday because we've come far. We've come far in overcoming many of the systemic racism and issues of the past, including Jim Crow, which once prevented people who look like me from holding public office because of discriminatory laws. And as Dr. King once said, and Judge George quoted it, but it's worth being said again, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And just like during the Civil Rights Movement, that African Americans were fighting for equality, it was people of good conscience of different races that stood in solidarity because they knew that it was about human rights and human dignity. Representative Wu, I'm proud as an African American to stand with you in the Chinese community, in the Asian community. I'm proud to stand with Dr. Suleiman Lalani and the Pakistani community. I'm proud to serve and stand here with County Judge KP George and the Indian community. We're all brothers and sisters. We're all united in the human race. And this bill does single out individuals. That is why this bill is so offensive. Guess what? America is a nation of immigrants. This country was founded on the backs of immigrants. This country was built on the backs of immigrants. And we will stand and speak truth to power. We will stand in solidarity to fight this discriminatory bill. This place, this country, is a land of opportunity. And obviously, these immigrants, these people chose to come to America to live the American dream. Home ownership, purchasing land, that is the bedrock of our foundation and our fabric. And we should not single them out, saying that they can't do that. And so I'm proud to stand in solidarity. I'm proud to fight this bill. We will fight it with every fiber in our body. We will march, we will protest, and I hope that we will appeal to other people, not just people who, and unfortunately, I believe, Gene, that all Democrats will be against this. But we want the Republicans of good conscience to say no. Say no to hate. Say no to divisive bills. United we stand, divided we fall. And finally, I'll say this. Texas is one of the most diverse states in the country. Fort Bend, I'm proud that we're holding this here because we're the most diverse county in the nation. Right. And we reflect those values. We're not going to pick races against each other. We're going to support each other in opposition to this bill. So thank you, Judge George, for assembling us together, and we will continue to build momentum, and we're soliciting other people. We want to see the United Nations, in other words, every race, every creed, every socioeconomic group fighting against Senate Bill 147. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ron. It is so relevant. You rightfully mentioned Fort Bend. 30% of our residents are foreign born. 30% out of almost 900,000 people. And also I wanted to let you know that people paid in 2019, I don't have the latest number, $675 million in taxes. And they contributed $11 billion to the economy of Fort Bend County. And their buying power was $7 billion, which is equal to 36% of Fort Bend County's total buying power. These people add value to our society, our community. And that is why I said this is not about the nation. This is about the people, like you and me. And so at this point, I wanted to invite, of course, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee just joined. And I will ask, ma'am, thank you for being here. I will ask Dr. Lalani to... And Dr. Lalani, please come up, and you have some significance to share, and please share your thoughts.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
As Dr. King said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Right. This SB 147 is a threat, is injustice, is a nuisance, is a distraction. It's distracting us from important issues like healthcare, education, electric grid, or safety or security. America is a land of opportunity. Right. It's a land of immigrants. And whoever denies that needs to go back and read the history. Not only just the sacrifices made, but also all the progress made by the Americans and the immigrants. Texas has about 5 million foreign-born Americans. We call it home, which is about 17% of our state.
Right.
We're not only marginalizing a segment and affecting their quality of life or peace or prosperity, but we are also affecting the prosperity and economic development of Texas. Texas is the world's largest economy, right? We need to do everything possible in our power to climb up that ladder. not to push our Texans off that ladder into darkness and fear and insecurity. I'm a proud immigrant, and I'm a proud Texan. We are brothers and sisters.
That's right.
We are neighbors and friends. We are the doctors. We are the entrepreneurs, engineers, professionals. We are in government.
Yes.
That's right.
We call this home.
Yeah. This is our home.
We participate in the social, cultural, spiritual, economic development of state of Texas. And I stand here with all my brothers and sisters affected by this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lalani. Very well said. At this point, I will ask our Fort Bend County District Attorney to come and talk about some legal impact of SB 147. District Attorney Brian Williams.
Thank you, Judge. We've lived through an experience in America when we had a such thing called race-based laws called Jim Crow. This is just a reiteration of that race-based legislation that's going to create more harm than whatever purpose they intended to pursue with this legislation. We need to stand up now because maybe your name is not on this legislation as excluded from buying property, but you have to ask why not and what will stop them from putting your name and your culture on this list. Race-based legislation is wrong, and we need to stand up and not be silent now. We need to stand up and let our legislators know we will not tolerate Jim Crow again in America. Just as every speaker said before, the Asian community has contributed so much to our society.
That's right.
And right now, we need to stand with them and let them know that we care.
That's right.
America is one of the greatest, or it is the greatest country in the whole world. We are better than this. Our values are better than this. And we won't let the ideology of a few ruin our values in America. We stand up and we will not tolerate racism in any form or fashion in Fort Bend County, in Texas, or the United States. I stand with you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Very, very well said. At this time, I will invite Nabila Mansour. Make your comment.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nabila Mansour. I'm with a group called Rise AAPI, and that's committed to helping the Asian American community. And this is something we've seen before. Not too long ago, I lived through the Muslim ban. And I am not going to allow another iteration of a discriminatory bill affect my brothers and sisters in any other community happen right here in Texas. That is not going to happen on my watch. That's not going to happen on our watch. And we're going to do everything we can to make sure that this discriminatory, I'm going to say anti-Asian hate bill is not going to be passed. We're going to be at the Capitol. We're going to be talking to our representatives, our senators, to make sure that they know that this is unacceptable. I want all of you to know that your Muslim American sisters and brothers, your Asian American sisters and brothers, your South Asian sisters and brothers are here with you. We are going to be with you, and we are going to make sure that this doesn't happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Nabila. It is very well said, and I just wanted to say this. I heard the representative or the senator who is writing this bill send me an email saying that this is nothing new. It is adding on to Senate Bill 2116. I said, that scares me, because what you're going to be adding next session. And if you think, anyone who is listening, you think, oh, India is not on the list or Pakistan is not on the list, you're fooling yourself. They could add on to this list. So that is the reason why it is important to stand with our brothers and sisters. It is so important. It is about human dignity.
That's right.
And they suffered a lot through COVID, when we had COVID. And we held the event here saying that we will stand with our Chinese brothers and sisters, and they're part of our community. And we live together here in harmony. And also, I just wanted to say, We all are standing with you. Along with that, I will present it to you a special guest. Drove all the way to the city, and because it is very much a passionate issue for her, and you see that she's fighting for this kind of bigotry, this kind of injustice. And I'm very proud to present it to you, our very own Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee.
Judge George, thank you so very much for giving me this moment to join with my fellow brothers and sisters. Yes, a little distance, but there should be no distance that you should not be willing to travel to stomp out hatred.
Amen.
That's right.
No distance,
Yeah.
no storm, no mountains, no valleys. Let me express my appreciation again to Fort Bend County Judge K.P. George. Honored to be here with Representative Jean Wu. I've got Ted Lieu on my mind. Congressman Lieu. To Representative Wu, who drove miles to join me just a few hours ago. To newly elected Representative Lonnie, who has been a stellar and honorable representative of justice. And of course, the new chair of the the state legislature, Black Caucus, and that is Representative Ron Reynolds. Thank you to my sister Mansour. I've seen you in the battle. Thank you to others standing here. Thank you to Ling Liu for her consistent, and thank you to all of you. As a member of the United States Congress, let me join with your sister, Congresswoman Lizzie Fletcher, who's had to travel out of town. But I wanted you to hear the impression of the federal government and the importance of Texas standing up against SB 147. One of our renowned late civil rights leaders, John Lewis, said, if you see something, do something.
That's right.
Many of you know we hosted him in Texas before his passing. Judge George, I don't know about the other bill, but what we see now is SB 147. We need to see something and do something. Let me give you just a brief analysis, and the excellent work of our District Attorney Middleton is right. He has called upon the Constitution and the difficulty that he may have to engage in. The outright discriminatory probing of someone's personal matters. What about an inheritance? What about marrying into the family? Now you're suggesting that we cannot be the mosaic, the melting pot, the mosaic that we're used to being. That we must isolate those who are on this. North Korea, Iran, Russia, among others. But let me hear and tell you what is being said. First of all, we know the horrific AAPI bashing that occurred when a former leader said Kung flu. We were all huddled together, doctors from many backgrounds, nurses, patients, all huddled together trying to survive. And this ugly word, and our friends from the Asian community were being bashed in the head, thrown down on the ground, and the surge in Asian hatred just pummeled our community. Or what about the time of 9/11? When Houston made itself unique. We did not bash Muslims. Our mayor at that time, Lee Brown, stood up and we joined together, but other communities were bashing Muslims. They refused to do a mosque in downtown Manhattan. Words and laws to do something.
That's right.
They do something. Don't take us for fools. Don't think that we are going to think that you're being patriotic because we don't like North Korea or that America doesn't like Russia or Iran. You're talking about people in the United States who have clamored to come here for her democracy and equality.
Right. Yeah.
Don't play us like we're fools. And once you go down that road, you'll never return.
That's right.
You'll have a billboard where people will say, don't even let them bank at your bank. Does the author of the bill know the can of evil worms that they may be opening if they begin to call countries? Let me be very clear as a member of the United States Congress. We have an American position on North Korea and its position as a despotic nation we want the people of North Korea to be free. We do not have a position on North Koreans or Koreans as being inhumane or people who we do not want to see thrive in a free society.
Yes.
We have a position on Iran, but we don't have a position on the people who are in the streets of Iran, the women who have been fighting for freedom. We're standing with them.
That's right.
So do you mean to tell me if an Iranian who makes her way to the United States and owns or seeks to own property in this state, who has fought for democracy, are you going to deny them? Ukraine is in a fight for its life. Of course we have a position in standing with Ukraine and against Russia. But does that mean that the Russians who are in this country, who have clamored for democracy, or the Russians who protested the war, are you condemning them all? And China, with our many, many members in the Chinese American community, who are our researchers and students and teachers and who have put on the uniform of the United States to fight and shed their blood for us, are you suggesting that a soldier comes home who's Chinese and Representative Wu cannot own property or be part of a company that owns property? I just wanted to take you down that memory lane.
That's right.
For the author of the bill to just step aside and read the bill. As I know Representative Wu heard me say to read my hate crime bill, I just want people to read the bill. And the reading the bill, it is ugly, it is wrong, it is dangerous, and it only can provoke antagonisms and danger for innocent people. I will tell you that I'll go to the ends of the earth to join my friends who are standing here against any horrific effort at discriminating and creating acts of violence against others simply because of who they are. And when you pass this legislation, I can assure you, debate on the Senate floor will not be pretty. It will not be pretty. And that will provoke persons who might be inclined to do ill. I want peace. I want harmony. I want America's values that allows us to be free and to do all that we can do and to be our very best. And I want the message for the children, the little one with the red coat on, is holding a sign. I want him to be able to live in a land that accepts him for his brilliance, for who he is, and not because of what his ethnicity, race, religion, or any difference that he may have. Being disabled, physically challenged, mentally challenged, nobody, LGBTQ, it is absolutely un-American, and I will not stand with those who promote un-American, hateful acts against others. Thank you for allowing me to be here.
Thank you,
That explains everything. That explains everything. This is not Congresswoman's constituency. That shows how much she cares about what is going on.
That's right.
And that shows how much she cares about the community is affected. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for being here. I really, really appreciate it. And at this point, I wanted to invite a couple of people coming from the affected list of nations, and they want to. I want them to come and say how do they feel about it. We like to hear that. I will invite Ling Lu. Please come forward and make it.
Thank you very much, County Judge KP George and Councilwoman Sheila Dixon Lee. Welcome to our county, and thank you, Jing, our representative of the state, and Lalani, and our Ron. So many officials here. I'm sorry I couldn't remember all the name, and also I want to thank you, all my fellow Chinese American community members, for coming here to thank our county to put up this podium, put up this opportunity for us to express our sadness, our anger, and our solidarity to stand together against this bill. I want to tell people some story. Maybe many people don't even know. Chinese communities has not been just targeted just for this time. 200 years ago, the Chinese Exclusive Act has stopped Chinese from reunion for 50 years. 50 years, no Chinese immigrants to America from 200 years ago. And that dirty act hasn't been overturned. Just have somebody said sorry. That's it.
That's right.
3 years ago, some president said Kung Flu and then started China Initiative. And the thousands of Chinese professors and doctors and scientists was taken into suspect as spy. And most of the cases turned out to be nothing. And now they're targeting us individual Chinese Americans. We can't even live here because we can't even buy a house. We are here, pay tax. We are not citizen yet. Many of them, we are not citizen yet, right? I am citizen, yes. We have lost